All right, welcome everybody to Sports on the Hill podcast. This is episode 229. I'm joined here, like always, by Carol. We've got a big night ahead of us. We're going to talk Nats talk at the beginning. Also talk about the NBA and NHL playoff update. Yeah, it should be a fun time. And yeah, Carol? Why don't you introduce how you're doing?
What's going on, Robbie? You know, as always, CP3 coming to you live from the lab. It's a little different tonight. I'm on the Zoom feed with Robbie. I'm about to share it to my page in a second for folks that's looking for all the graphics that's normally on my page. You know, got some technical difficulties going on tonight, so we'll be back to normal next week. But as always, Sports on the Hill podcast bringing you the best DC sports coverage around. Yeah, like Robbie said, we got some great Nats coverage. They went 3-3 last week. We got the game on now. They tied 2-2 with Pittsburgh. I believe it's the bottom of the top of the seventh. Man on, one out, 2-2 tie game. Finnegan's on the mound. He's looking better than he did the other night when he cost the Nats the game. I'm gonna break that down with the recap of the week. They're still in last place, unfortunately, but there's always time to turn it around. We saw that happen before. It can happen again. Then we're going to talk a little NHL, and then Robbie in the NBA roundtable breakdown of NBA. Then stay tuned. We'll have some football coverage coming up soon. And I was talking to Paul, the boxing guy. He'll be on probably soon. Robbie will be taking a break starting next week, I believe. So we
Yeah,
have
I'm taking 1 week off, and then I'm back for 1 week, and then I'm gone for two. So it's like a staggered thing. So I'm going to Texas next week, and then I'm going on a different trip for 2 weeks in July. But yeah, I'm looking forward to taking a little bit of time off. I love doing this, but it's also nice to get an opportunity to get away. And I haven't been able to travel, obviously, in over a year, and I'm thankful that both Liz and I have our vaccines, and Zach is really good at using his mask. I want to tell one quick story before we get into baseball talk, because it's baseball related, and it's actually a local team. So if people don't know about this area, there's a team called the Frederick Keys, and they used to be a minor league affiliate team for the Baltimore Orioles from 1989 till 2020. They're actually the first baseball team I ever got to see live. They again opened in '89, and I want to say within the first couple of years, my parents took me to my first baseball game. And I just got a subscription on Twitch. Thank you, Carly. I appreciate now a second month subscriber, my first person to have 2 months. So that's really cool. Yeah, so anyway, it was a really cool thing. I just wanted to show a little video snippet, and then we'll get into our normal podcast talk real fast. But it was a really fun time. If you go to my YouTube channel, go to sportsothp.com, click on my name in the YouTube link, you can see that we had such a great time. It was a beautiful day. Zach got to meet the mascot. And got to go on the carousel and ride around, and they even do like fireworks, which is really amazing. And then he got to even run the bases. So if you want to check that out, it's a really adorable video. It's on my YouTube channel. Again, sportsothp.com, and click on Robbie G's YouTube channel. So I just wanted to give him a shout out for going to his first baseball game. I also wanted to point out that they did really well. I actually had the box score right here. And here it is. 9-7. So they scored 9 runs on 12 hits, which is incredible. And then they played well all the way through. And they had been 0-12-2, Carol, leading up into this game. And they've had a rough stretch of it ever since they've left. They're now in a collegiate minor league thing. It's a whole different. They restructured the minor league this year, and they're on the outs. They're no longer part of the Orioles system. But anyway, it was really fun to go to a game. Highly recommended if you live in Maryland. We got to sit front row. He was climbing on the dugout, and it was $13 a ticket. So I mean, you can't beat that for front row tickets. And they've got like tons of rides and stuff. I haven't been since I was like 5 or 6, but it's amazing. So anyway, it's the Frederick Keys. Give them a little shout out. Check them out if you want a family friendly baseball situation. So I was excited about that. I'm going to let you, Carol, rock and roll with some of the baseball talk. We're going to bring in Brian and Tim in a little bit to talk about the game that they went to. I'm going to put on the baseball game on my screen over here so I could give live scoring updates throughout the night. And I will also share it to a bunch of Facebook groups as well. But I'll let you rock and roll and talk about that Tampa Bay series.
All right. As we spoke about a little while ago, the Nats finished 3-3 for the week. They are 27-35, last in the NL East. Injuries and pitching and not getting hits when they need them basically is what's going on with the Nats right now. In the last 10 games, they're 4-6. As I said, they're currently in the top of the seventh, Pittsburgh, and he just struck out 2 outs, one man on. Finnegan's on the mound. He's pitching very well tonight. He had a bad outing a few nights ago that I'm going to talk about definitely. The bullpen has been a slight issue also. We talked about the Tampa Bay Rays. Brian gave a great breakdown of their talented squad being in the AL East. And he spoke highly of Tyler Glasnow, and he didn't disappoint. First game of the series was a 3-1 loss. Tyler Glasnow was on the mound. He won the game. He went 7 innings, giving up 6 hits, 1 earned run with 11 strikeouts and 1 walk. Wander Suero took the loss. That puts him at 0-1. Glasnow was now 5-2 after that game. Wander Suero went a third of an inning, giving up 1 hit, 2 earned runs with no strikeouts and 2 walks. And Diego Castillo earned his 10th save of the season for the Rays, going 1 inning, giving up no hits, no earned runs, with a strikeout and no walks. Trey Turner went 1 for 3 with the RBI single for the lone run scored by the Nats. The second game, the Nats were able to split. They won 9-7. They went extra innings. Brad Hand earned the victory. That puts him at 3-2. He went 2 innings, giving up 2 hits, 2 runs. One of those earned because in the extra innings the man is on second, and if that man scores, it's not an earned run because he was already on base or whatever. He had 3 strikeouts and 1 walk. Diego Castillo took the loss for the Rays. That puts him at 2-3. He went an inning, giving up 2 hits, 2 runs. One of those earned, 2 strikeouts, and no walks. And Tanner Rainey earned his first save of the season, going 1 inning, giving up no hits, no earned runs, with 2 strikeouts and 1 walk. Juan Soto went 1 for 4 with a 2-run home run. Ryan Zimmerman had a monster game, going 2 for 4 with a solo home run and a 2-run home run. And Starlin Castro continued his hot hitting, going 2 for 5 with an RBI double. This was a interesting series because, like I said, the first game with Tyler Glasnow, he's, as Brian said, he definitely had some nasty stuff. He was making the Nats look bad out there while he was on the mound. It was good to see the second game and put some runs up. Brian said they would probably split, had a better chance in the second game, and they definitely did. Brad Hand had a chance to lock it down, but unfortunately, whenever he faced AL East teams for some reason, he can't shut it down like he needs to. I'm still don't understand why they didn't re-sign Doolittle and keep the rotation the way it was with Doolittle and then Hudson. Now they have Hudson coming in the 8th, and he's still been effective, but I feel as a closer, I didn't even see no reason in bringing in Brad Hand for the amount of money they brought him in for. And, he has 11 saves, but all I remember is those 3 blown saves that, cost the Nats victories previously. So we'll talk about that at a later date. Then the Nats had a 4-game series with the Giants, who have the best record in the National League. They split. First game was a 1-0 loss. Mad Max left early with groin tightness. I believe it was in the first inning, or maybe I think it might be in the second inning. I can't remember exactly. I know Brian and Tim they're going to be coming in shortly to give their in-person recap of the game. But it was a 1-0 loss, and Anthony Descofani had a complete game shutout of the Nats that puts him at 6-2. He went 9 innings, giving up 2 hits, no earned runs, with 8 strikeouts and 1 walk. And Paulo Espino took the loss for the Nats. That puts him at 0-2. He went 3 1/3, giving up 3 hits, 1 earned run, with 5 strikeouts and no walks. He gave up a home run to Buster Posey. Buster Posey. You know, it was a 1-0 game. Then Juan Soto got robbed later in the game by one of the San Francisco Giants. I know Brian, we talked about it right after it happened. And it was a 1-0 game. It was you know, the Nats played well, but unfortunately couldn't get any offense on Descalfani. You know, I didn't even know his name, but complete game shutout. That says a lot. Brian and Tim, you guys want to come on in and chime in on your experience seeing that 1-0 game live and the disappointing loss and the injury to Mad Max.
Yeah, sure. I'll go first. Thanks for having me on. It was a crazy game just because it was the first night since the pandemic where the Nationals were allowed to have a capacity crowd. And they had about 18,000 fans, but it was probably a lot less actually in the seats because the weather was really iffy. And as soon as we got into the stadium and got to the seats, got food, Scherzer gets hurt on the second batter. And so the energy in the place just falls out of the stadium completely. And everyone was really bummed out, very confused. You know, it was a Friday night and people were sort of into it, like through the first batter, but that deflated the whole stadium. And Espino came in and did a great job. All in all, it was just such a quick defensive game. And, you know, Buster Posey was the hero that he hit the only home run and run in the whole game. But just the Nationals, you know, only had 3 base runners, I think, the whole game. That's not going to cut it. And the offense never got going and the crowd never got into it. So it was just kind of an odd game, you know, not a ton of energy, I would say. That's the theme.
Agreed. I agree.
I definitely agree with that. That's a great breakdown.
I just want to give love to Mike Talkman, who was the Giants outfielder who robbed Juan Soto. He used to play for the Yankees until just a few months ago when they traded him, and he's already made 2 incredible homer robbing catches since he got traded to the Giants. And the Yankees could absolutely use him. So I regret that. I do miss Mike Talkman, but that catch was incredible. And Descalfani was great. I mean, he really mowed. The Nationals had 0 offense in this game, and he's not somebody you normally talk about. Like, nobody expected a complete game from him. And I agree with Tim. When Scherzer got hurt, all the energy and all the life of the building went right out of the building. Like, it was just like, it was soul crushing almost that happened. But I shout out to Mike Talkman, and the Nationals got to start doing better offensively.
Yeah, I was watching the game when I think it was a straight pitch, and I think he didn't land right on the mound, and you can see him trying to stretch it out off the break.
Yeah.
And then when I saw the trainer come out, I was like, yeah, this is not good. It's just especially with our pitchers with Strasburg, you know, on the IL again, getting his neck checked out. Now Scherzer with his groin. Corbin hasn't been his normal self. His slider has been, I don't know what it is. His slider's been horrible this year. That's normally his bailout pitch. He gets a lot of strikeouts on that pitch, but he hasn't been able to locate it. And Joe Ross has been, you know, he's 3-6, but he's had some great outings, but then he's had some horrible outings. Then you got Eric Fetty, who's been pitching better, but it's also the inconsistency. So it's kind of frustrating being a Nats fan right now.
I think Fetty, though, is pulling it together, and he's got a chance to be good. You know, he's inconsistent, but he's got talent, and he always goes up and down. You know, if he can just stick and get comfortable, he could be a decent starter, I think.
Yeah, agreed.
He's definitely improved, and I actually wrote an article about him when he first came up, and you know, seeing what he had. And at first, it was he was giving up too many home runs. Now, what's going on with him now is he's having control issues. Sometimes when he's locked in, he's good, but when he's off, his control is the issue, and then that's when he gets walks and get extra men on base. Pitch count gets up, and then he ends up out the game. But I feel he's definitely maturing into a good pitcher. And just like we saw with Strasburg, I feel like he didn't start developing to a pitcher from a thrower until they got Doug Fister on the staff. Because Doug Fister, I feel, taught him a lot about being more of a pitcher than just a thrower, because that's what Strasburg was before. And now he's more of a pitcher now that you know, if his fastball isn't getting him over, he'll go to his changeup. Or he'll switch it up and, you know, give you different pitches and do what he has to do to get the out. So I think he's definitely going to mature into a quality pitcher for this team. And they're giving him time. You know, sometimes when they don't have success off the break, they, you know, send him down and take him out of the rotation, but you see them sticking with him. So they got the faith in him. So that's a good sign.
I just want to wrap up our talk on this game by saying it was great to be back at Nats Park. I love Nats Park, and it's great that it's back at 100% capacity. And I encourage everybody, even if the team sucks, go to the games. They're a lot of fun. It was great to see the president's race, and I'm just glad that DC's back open again and that Nats Park is back to normal. But yeah, that was a frustrating loss.
You know what's sad is you as a Yankees fan has been to the National Stadium more than I have for a game. I have to do something.
Man. You got to change that. Start going to some games, Carol.
I know I got to try to do something, man. Trust me, I'm working. But a quick score.
I've got a scoring update. Yeah, okay. Do you have it?
Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, Kyle Schwarber just got a solo shot to make it 3-2, right? On the bottom of the seventh, 2 outs. So, yeah, it was a nice one. It was a bomb. And yeah, they take the lead. Again, bottom of the seventh, 2 outs. I'll let you guys know if anything else happens.
All right, quick question, Robbie, since you're on real quick. Kyle Schwarber has been leading off and Trey Turner has been hitting second. Schwarber's had some success so far hitting the leadoff spot. How do you feel about that?
I'm okay with that. I mean, if you can get 2 guys, I mean, I'm just happy if you can get speed at the beginning of the lineup. So I think if you can get both of them on, you know, it definitely opens up some opportunities down the line. I mean, I think at different times in the game, they're going to have to they might have to switch off, right? So I don't know if it's going to stay this way the whole season. But, you know, I think a bunch of different people need to try the leadoff position throughout the season, unless it's like just dominated by one guy. And so I think, you know, with injuries and a long season, I think it's important that a couple of guys get there. And obviously he just, scored a run. So now Trey's basically at the new top of the lineup. He can get on. Hopefully someone can hit him over. So, I mean, if it works, it works. I mean, we'll just see in the long haul.
They got to find something that works and fast, because season's slipping away.
Yeah, because they've tried Robles at the leadoff, and he's not patient enough to be a leadoff hitter. And Trey's had some good, quality success. He's the #1 leadoff home run guy for the franchise, and he gets on base. He wreaks havoc when he gets on the bases. But I mean, if he's having success, I don't have a problem with it. He's getting contact. He's starting to get hot now. And then if he can get on or hit home runs, and then Trey set the table some more, get on. I kind of, I'm not mad at it. Tim, so what do you think, Tim?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really think of Schwarber as a good leadoff man. He's more of a power guy, but you have to shake up the lineup now, because the Nats have talent. They have a lot of good hitters, and it's been a long run of just bad hitting, and they'll break out here and there and score like over 10, but it's only for a game, and then it goes back to just a couple runs. So I think shake it up and see what happens. I think if, they somehow make the playoffs, Trey Turner is the leadoff guy, but right now just keep cycling through people and see what works.
No doubt. Let me go ahead and wrap up this series, and we can talk about the upcoming games and get ready to get into some NHL talk before y'all talk basketball. I appreciate y'all coming on early to talk baseball with us. The second game of the series was a 2-0 win by the Nationals, and we were just talking about Eric Fetty. That puts him at 4-4. He went 5 innings, giving up 4 hits, no earned runs, with 7 strikeouts and no walks. The ex-Oriole, Kevin Gausman, took the loss. He's pitching pretty well out there. That put him at 7-1. He's went 4 innings, giving up 3 hits, 2 earned runs with 4 strikeouts and 2 walks. And Brad Hand earned the save for his 11th of the season. He went 1 inning, giving up no hits, no earned runs with 2 strikeouts. Schwarber went 1 for 3 with a solo home run, and Josh Harrison went 1 for 2 with the RBI double. That was a doubleheader game because the game that got ranked out. So that was a 7-inning game, and then the second game of the doubleheader was a 2-1 loss by the Nats. That was Jake McGee earned the victory for San Francisco. That puts him at 2-2. He went 1 inning, giving up no hits, no earned runs, 3 strikeouts. Kyle Finnegan, this was the game that he kind of disappointed because normally when he comes in, he's locked in, he's getting strikeouts or getting contact outs. In this game, he was just all over the place. He took the loss that put him at 2-2. He went a third of an inning, giving up 2 hits, 2 runs with one of those earned with no strikeouts and a walk. And Caleb Barrera earned the save. That was his first of the season. He went the inning, giving up 1 hit, 1 run, wasn't earned because extra innings after it went over 7 innings, and no strikeouts and no walks. And the last game of the series, the Nats were able to earn a split. I'm sorry. Joe Ross, who we just spoke about, is now 3-6, but he went 8 innings, giving up 5 hits, no earned runs, with 9 strikeouts and no walks. Johnny Cueto took the loss, puts him at 4-3. He went 5 1/3, giving up 9 hits, 5 runs, 4 of those earned with 2 strikeouts and 3 walks. Kyle Schwarber had we were just talking about him at the leadoff. He had a monster game with going 2 for 4 with 2 home runs, a solo home run, and a 3-run home run. And Starlin Castro went 1 for 4 with RBI double. So we spoke last week about the Nats facing the Rays, which are, a good team in the AL, and the Giants, the number 1 team in the National League. And they went 3-3. So I said last week this would be, telling about the Nats, 3-3, it's 500, cool. It could have been worse. Could have been 1-5. We would have liked 4-2 would have been better. But the fact that they were able to, split with 2 of the best teams in the MLB shows, as they just said, they have talent. They just got to put it together and be consistent on a daily basis to continue to win these games. They're still up 3-2, top of the 8th, 0-2 count, no outs. Who's that on the mound? Tanner Rainey's on the mound right now. Look like it's a pop out to right field. All right, so Brian, with the Giants, I know you follow baseball, in a wide variety. With the Giants being one of the top teams in the NL, what do you think about this team being able to get a split with this team and actually, keeping it competitive, not getting blown out or, some crazy things happening?
Well, I actually want to talk about one specific moment in this series, which I actually talked to you about offline, Carol. I watched the highlights of this series. I watched the highlights of every game. And in the second game of the doubleheader, Victor Robles made a mistake that I think is absolutely inexcusable when he tried to tag up and when he slid over the bag and got tagged out to get doubled up on that in the extra innings. I thought that was inexcusable and just sloppy and just really bad baseball. And that's just something you can't do. Now, I'm, as you guys know, a Yankees fan, and I've seen my team run out and make outs on the base pass all season this year. And it's been incredibly frustrating to watch. So to see the Nationals do it too was also really frustrating because Robles is better than that. And that was a huge mistake. So I just wanted to comment on that before I talk about the rest of the series. But that cost them a chance at winning the series, I feel. But nevertheless, it's good to get a split against the team that does have the best record in the NL, which is surprising to a lot of people. They're in a really good division with the Dodgers and the Padres, 2 teams that I think are frankly better than them. So to be in first place and to have the best record in the NL is really incredible for the Giants. So it's good that the Nationals did split the series. It was a low-scoring series. Joe Ross was excellent on Sunday, and I really like Joe Ross. So you guys talked about Fetty. I like Joe Ross. I want Joe Ross to do well. So that was good to see. And a 3-3 week against Tampa Bay and the Giants is good, I would say, because those are good teams. So you'll take it.
Definitely. I agree.
That was our goal going into the week, right? We were talking about it last week that we were going to try to stay around 500. So
yeah, I agree. I like Joe Ross also. I hope the best for him that he can get consistent. Because, like I said, when he pitches well, he's locked in. Like you said, 8 innings, 5 hits, no runs, 9 strikeouts, no walks.
Great stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, if we can just get out on a consistent basis, this dude is going to be lights out. And I know his brother is with the Padres, and he was more highly touted than Ross at his stuff. And it seems like Ross, got a World Series ring, but he hasn't got that consistency yet. So hopefully we'll see that soon, getting locked in with him also.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Tim, what do you say?
Yeah, I mean, I would say even 2-4 isn't that bad with these opponents. Like Tampa, I know better just being in the AL East, and they've been on absolute fire lately. Every year they're somehow good without spending any money and having a terrible stadium and fan base. So they have great management, always competitive. And San Francisco, I think it was a great job to come back and split because they had that opening series loss. They had all the rain. You lost your best player to injury, and you had your bullpen get all but one out in the game and come back and do a doubleheader that I think even had extra innings in one game. So for the bullpen to get through that and have a ton of scoreless innings, that was great. And then also Joe Ross needed to have a long outing and did, and had a shutout. So they're looking good in this game, and their bullpen kind of saved them going into this week.
Yeah, Brian mentioned that Robles play. It was I didn't understand. I know.
Dude, what was he thinking? Like, that makes no sense to me.
Right now, to me, he's pressing at the plate. And the fact that he got on, I think he was so happy to be on that he was trying to make something happen to spark the team. And he just made a boneheaded play. It's like do or die. If he was able to advance, it'd have been a great play. But because, like you said, he overshot the base and got out and possibly cost the nasty game, we're looking at it a bad way. But he has to be more patient at the plate. And I want to see him try to bunt more, because he's a good bunter, but he's trying to hit the long ball or trying to get triples and doubles. Like, sometimes when you're not hitting well, you got to get yourself on the bases. And then when you can wreak havoc on the bases, that's going to give you confidence when you start stealing bases and putting pressure on the pitcher. And then they're worried about you getting on base instead of you worrying about yourself getting on base.
I mean, I agree with you. I think Robles has a ton of potential. We saw it in 2019. He pretty much got the job away. It was him and Michael A. Taylor for a long time, and then it just became Robles exclusively pretty much. So he has the potential to be a very good center fielder. At the game Tim and I went to, I was actually a little surprised. They pinch hit for him with Andrew Stevenson. And I know that would have been a better matchup. It would have been a lefty versus a righty, but I was surprised because Robles has been on the team for a while now, and he's been a consistent guy. They would pinch hit for him in that spot. But I agree. He hasn't been getting on base, and you're right. He must have been just really happy to be on base. That's the only explanation for a bonehead move like that.
Real quickly, I got a scoring update, or at least a double play by the Nationals to end the inning. And not an easy scoop. He got the ball, and a nice play to second base, and then obviously the relay on to first. But we'll take the double play to end the inning there. So the Nats are still up 3-2. So just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, well, Robles, he's he has it. Like you say, he has the potential. He's defensively, hands down, it's no problem. It's just at the plate, and the fact that they have him hitting ninth now and the pitcher hitting ahead of him, that kind of lets you know what they feel about his patience at the plate right now. It's like the high fastball, like everybody knows, you throw him a high fastball, he's swinging for the fences, like he's going to catch up to it. And he just has to have more patience. And I think if he, starts to try to bunt for base hits, more often with his speed, and he's a above average bunter. He can put the ball down and get to first base, and then he can get on base and then build confidence through his, speed when he steals bases, which will help the team. But he just has to get that patience back that we saw in flashes in 2019. Tim, so what's your take on Robles? I don't want to leave you out the discussion.
Oh, no problem. I agree with everybody. I mean, I think he's definitely pressing. He's definitely trying to do more to help the team. The team's struggling at the plate, and everybody wants to kind of break through. I think a big thing with Robles, at least batting, was when he was just coming up. He was able to kind of surprise a lot of pitchers, and he wasn't he wasn't really keyed on by the pitching staff of the other teams. But after that, having some success, pitchers start to get the book on him, and like you said, they realize if they go upstairs, he's gonna chase and he's gonna strike out. And I think it's just he needs to make the next adjustment. And I don't, it's not good that he hasn't, because this is the year he really needs to make a jump if he's ever going to be a really good major league hitter. And you just kind of have a question about him. But I mean, you got to play him and see if he can get through it. He's got enough potential. It's not like they can bench him. So put him out there every night, see what happens.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I guess we get spoiled with watching Juan Soto and the patience he has at the plate being so young. And you wish that, all young hitters had that patience. So I guess I got to put that some in my equation too, because I know I'm spoiled by Juan Soto and what he does at the plate, the confidence that he has, the great eye that he has for the strike zone, and the patience that he has, even when he's earning walks, when they don't want to pitch to him, he's not chasing. And when they get something in his sweet spot, he's knocking it out the park. So I guess I got to put some of that into the equation also.
Yeah, you can't all be Soto.
Right.
Yeah.
Carol, I can actually project the upcoming schedule up on the screen. Do you want me to do that real quick, and then we can walk through it?
I was just about to do that, Robbie. That's why we a great
team. We've
done
done this for 5 years, right? All right. So we got this live Pirates game that's a 3-2 that we've been talking about. Tomorrow there's a 7:05 game. Oh, I have to switch my screen. Hold on. There we go. All right. So sorry, there's a tomorrow 7:05, a 4:05 game on Wednesday, June 16th. Then we have a day off on Thursday, and then it's a series against the Mets where Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but it's 4 games. It's one on Friday at 7:05, and then there's a matinee 1:05, and then there's a 6:05. And for those who don't know, because there's a couple of people who don't know about baseball rules in my chat here, they play 2 7-inning games now when it's a doubleheader, which is a new-ish thing because of COVID. So 2 7-inning games on Saturday, and then on Sunday it's a 1:05 game, another matinee game. So it'll be an interesting series here. There's 3 games against the Pirates. Hopefully we win this one tonight, and then 4 games against the Mets. So Carol, I'll let you ask the guys what their thoughts are on that.
I'm glad you wrote that down, Robbie. So when I wrote down the times, I didn't even pay attention that was a doubleheader. So I'm glad you broke that down, because I'd have messed that all up. 3 games against Pittsburgh, like we mentioned tonight there, looking to secure this game. It's the bottom of the 8th. Josh Bell at the plate, 1 out, 2-1 count. He's looking like he want to take it deep right now. You can look at him and tell he wants to go deep.
Playing his former team.
Exactly. And hopefully they should be able to, I know Brian said, I haven't really paid attention to Pittsburgh right now, so Brian said Pittsburgh isn't too good right now. So I'm hoping for a sweep of Pittsburgh to try to get these guys going in the right direction, being 8 games under 500. And then the 4 games versus the Mets, who are surprisingly leading the East. That'll be a huge thing if they can, split or win 3 out of 4, or maybe sweep if they can get consistent after playing these Pirates and hopefully, getting some confidence and getting some hitting going. So it's an opportunity to gain some ground in the division and to gain some consistency, with a lesser opponent coming in for these first 3 games before they face the Mets. So all we can do is be optimistic and hope for a 500 or above week.
Yep. Sounds good. All right, Tim, any thoughts on the upcoming schedule?
I would love a 5-2 week, because I think, especially if you can take 3 out of 4 against the Mets and then win the Pittsburgh series, including tonight, you pick up some games on the division leader, and they creep a little bit closer to 500. So I'm not going to predict that. I think 4-3 is more likely, but they need to make a move soon. Like Brian was saying, if it's the end of June and they're still, 8-10 games under 500, I don't think they're going to come back from that. So TikTok.
Right. Brian, any thoughts?
Well, some good news about the Mets series is it looks like they're going to avoid Jacob deGrom. which is good because Jacob deGrom is right now more dominant than any pitcher arguably in baseball history. And
I still want him tested, Brian. I still want him
dude,
tested.
he's a cheat code. He's a cheat code. He's unbelievable. He's an animal. Look, I don't like the Mets either, but I'm totally willing to admit Jacob deGrom is unfair. But the bad news is that the rest of the Mets pitching staff is actually not bad. Marcus Stroman's been good. Taijuan Walker's been good. They're getting a lot of their key pieces back. They just took 2 out of 3 this weekend against the Padres. And I was watching their game against the Cubs a little bit earlier tonight, and they were beating the Cubs, who are also on fire right now too. So the Mets are legitimately a good team. So I think this is going to be. I think that's going to be a tough series. 4 games against the Mets is not going to be easy. So win the Pirates games for sure. I think they're going to end up. I'll say they'll split against the Mets, but definitely try and win at the bare minimum 2 out of 3 against Pittsburgh, or at least sweep, because Pittsburgh sucks. They're garbage.
Got it. All right. Well, thank you guys for helping us break down this baseball talk. And so, Carol, do you want to talk hockey with us, or and if you do, we can keep Brian on because I know that he said that he would talk hockey for a few minutes with us as well. Do you have anything more about baseball?
Yeah, I stay on for hockey, but I know y'all gonna talk basketball, and like I said, I'm having some battery issues over here. So yeah, I'll probably stay on for hockey and probably bounce after that.
That's perfect. Tim, I don't think you've watched either of the hockey series, right? Since the
I'll jump after basketball.
All right. Yeah, I'll just interview them and then you come back for basketball talk. We're gonna do hockey first.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, that's fine.
All right, cool. All right, I'm gonna actually share my screen again because I have some NHL playoff screen. Let me see if I can get this to work correctly. There we go. All right, so the series that it ended up being is it's going to be the Golden Knights and the Canadiens who are playing right now. It's actually 1-0 in that game live, and then the Islanders Lightning, and the Islanders are up 1-0 in that series. So it's a little bit of a surprise. The only favored team to make it was the Golden Knights. The Canadiens were a big surprise in the North. The Islanders have played very well under Barry Trotz. Carol and I talked last week about how we're supportive of Barry Trotz. But it didn't work out with him, getting him long term. But I think that's just as much our fault as it is his. I don't blame him necessarily for that. He's just making do with what he's got. So I think he's still the greatest coach in Capitals history. So I'm not going to hold it too much against him. And then the Lightning, who the Islanders played the Lightning in the semifinal round last year. It was called the Eastern Conference Finals back then. This is the Final Four, so they just call it the semifinals this year. And then the Golden Knights in that Canadian series, which I want to put on in a second, but I'm actually watching the end of a very exciting basketball game and this baseball game. So too many sports going on right now. But just basically, Carol, how surprised are you that the lowest point team in all of hockey made it to the semifinals in the Canadiens, and they look pretty good?
They're getting hot at the right time. They who was it? Winnipeg the series before, which wasn't expected, and they're getting hot at the right time. You got Carey Price, who's a quality goalie. He's locked in, and they're finding ways to win. And that's what playoff time is about hockey. You never know what team is going to get hot at the right time. We saw it happen with the Capitals in 2018 when they were good during the regular season, but they took it to a whole nother level in the playoffs and stepped their game up. And that's what Montreal, has done throughout the playoffs. And, they're looking like they're legit because, we said our pick was the Islanders versus the Golden Knights. It looked like Montreal got something to say about that.
Right, we'll see. I mean, so far they're losing 1-0, but the Golden Knights are a really good team. And I was impressed with how they beat the Avalanche in that series. The Hurricanes, we have a friend, Ryan, on Twitch, who's a big Hurricanes fan, and I feel for him because I really thought that the Hurricanes, it was going to be their season to take down the Lightning, but the Lightning took care of them pretty easily. I mean, even shutting them out in the final game, I guess that was a little bit surprising. But the Lightning are for real. I don't understand how a team could be this far against the cap, though. Like, they are like 14 million above the cap, Carol, because of some bullshit that they were able to get some extra players during the season while people are on long-term injury, but there is no cap in the playoffs, so they just get unlimited players with crazy cap numbers. Like, they're gonna have to close this loophole, but talk about taking advantage of a system. Like, holy shit. Like, I mean, it's just like an all-star team.
Kind of sounds like the Yankees.
It does, but
watch it.
It's true. But in hockey, it's not supposed to be able to happen. Like, you just get a tax in baseball. Like, in hockey, it's supposed to be a hard cap. It's not supposed to be able to even happen at all. So that's rough. Carol, what are your thoughts on the Lightning?
They won it last year
without one of their big players.
Yeah. So I mean, they've definitely been the cream of the crop during the regular season, and they've been running over people in the playoffs, playing their brand of hockey. But with Trotz and that defense, man, I mean, defense wins championships. If the defense, takes them out of their groove and they're not, scoring like they used to scoring, that's another whole pressure on them. They're like, okay, what's going on? We've beaten teams, been scoring 7 goals, 8 goals sometimes. And now, we're struggling. They know it's the playoffs, but that Trotz defense, man, we saw firsthand when that defense is locked in and they buying in, they get a lead and game over. And we saw that with the Capitals. When they get a lead late in the game, we was like, it's done deal. At least that's the way I felt, on that championship run. Like, if they get a lead at any point in the third, they're going to lock it down and shut the other team down, and they're going to win the game. And once they buy into that, it's the sky's the limit. And the Islanders, I think, are buying into that. And yeah, we're going to see an interesting series.
Yeah, for sure. And then, I mean, the Islanders, I'm sorry, Carly is my moderator in chat. She's a diehard Bruins fan, but the Islanders, they are a vicious team. I mean, when they took out Pittsburgh first, and then Boston, I just think they're just this group of gritty players. And I know that Brian has adopted them for this playoffs, which I think is a very strange thing to do as a Rangers fan.
Oh, get over it. Get over it. Hockey's my 5th favorite sport. I don't care.
Carol, it'd be like going to become a Penguins fan, right?
No, it's not. Get over it.
You don't think the Islanders and Rangers consider themselves the biggest rivals?
Of course they do, but I don't care about hockey enough to really care at all. Like, get over it. And that's my message to anybody who cares about me rooting for the Islanders. I don't care what you think. I'm doing it. Get over it.
The only reason I root for the Islanders is Barry Trotz.
Yes, I love Barry Trotz. Look, this is a very likable Islanders team, in my opinion. They've got some great players. Like, I love Barzal. I love Beauvillier. I love Pajot. These guys are, like, gritty players. And, like, I'm really enjoying watching them play. And, the Knicks are out. I need something to get behind. So I was like, screw it. I'll just root for the Islanders. And look, I like Barry Trotz too. I agree with everything you guys have said about Barry Trotz. He is an incredible coach. And without him, the Islanders aren't in the semifinals for the 2nd straight year. And I think they're going to win this time. I really do. Like, I think that they match up well with this Tampa Bay team. I think the Islanders are better than they were last year. In the playoffs, they made some great trades during the regular season. So I think the Islanders are in a great position to beat Tampa Bay. And I thought game 1 was a great game that went right down to the wire. And I'm excited for game 2 tomorrow.
For sure. I want to give a quick little shout out live. Justin Ferry just rated me on Twitch. I don't know, Carol, if you know how that works, but people, send their people to your feed. And now we have a whole bunch of a new audience watching our show that wasn't watching before. So that's very cool of Justin. He is a Penguins fan, which is ironic that I was making that comparison while that was happening. But he says, screw the Islanders because he's a Penguins fan, which I can understand that feeling.
I get it.
There. Happy belated birthday, Justin. We had fun on your birthday stream. But yeah, so I appreciate people chiming in and enjoying the hockey talk here live. Yeah, it's just going to be interesting. All right, let's just get back into this the current series, the semifinals. Islanders Lightning. Carol, I'll start with you. I'm going to stop the screen share for a second, but what are your thoughts, Carol, on this Islanders Lightning series? How do you see it going right now? It's only the Islanders did win the first game in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, like I told you, I'm riding with the Islanders for the whole thing. I'm a Trots fan. I feel like you spoke about it briefly that the Capitals made a mistake not re-signing them. I mean, like I said, you know more about the hockey front office stuff than I do. I'm the football guy that knows all about how that works. So, you know about the intricacies and how the cap work and all of that with the coach. But to me, it makes no sense not to re-sign the guy that just took you to the promised land for the first time in your franchise. You know he wanted to be here. You know he had.
You do it for 5 years at any cost.
I mean, he took you to the promised land, somewhere we had never got. Where you won all
some people had trouble with the terms, the number of years, and that was where the debate came in.
You won all the series on the road. Only 4 other teams in NHL history has
he didn't get out of the second round in any other year, and I'm just playing devil's advocate. And they wanted to fire him like 3 weeks before the end of the season.
And that's the thing. And he still persevered and got this team somewhere they beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh 2-1 in overtime. How many heartbreaking overtime losses have we seen to Pittsburgh? And then the fact to go into the conference finals and beat the Lightning and shut them out the last 2 games of the series to win the series on their home ice, and then to go to the conference finals and one bad call on Reeves not getting hit for the cross check in the paint from a sweep of the Golden Knight Vegas in their second time going to the Stanley Cup. And this man did all that in a 4-year span. And you try to tell me you can't open your wallet up and give him the benefit of the doubt to say it's going to work out?
It's funny because they open their wallet for their NBA coaches, but Leonsis doesn't do it for the NHL, which makes no sense to me.
Done jack nothing about getting to a championship. But then you want to shortchange the hockey guys. I don't understand it. And that goes into more of my bias for the NBA. Damn it, Ted, cut it out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just funny because those fan bases, though, there is a fractured Wizards and Capitals fan bases that clamor and complain about management and have different opinions about all this and what should be the focus. We cover both teams. Of course, I'm a fan of both teams, but it's interesting to hear fans talk about the other team when they're not a fan of them, right? When they're just a basketball or just a hockey fan and what they expect from Ted to do in this. So, we'll see how it goes going forward. There was a lot of injuries. I was looking at the injury report for the Capitals. You have a 50% Ovechkin, Backstrom, Eller. You got Kuzi, flirting with COVID all the time. You've got Samsonov, our goalie, having COVID issues. I mean, to lose your top 3 centers, your leading goal scorer, and your best defender, and your goalie, most teams couldn't compete.
I forgot. I got some inside information. I can't really name drop because I've run into some folks that have some ties with the Capitals, and I'm really not supposed to say nothing, but the Kuzi incident with him supposedly getting COVID for the second time
or third time.
Let's just say it wasn't COVID related. I'll leave it at that. So we were talking about who would be left open for the expansion draft. From what I'm hearing, after that, I think pretty much, he's going to be put out there.
Will Seattle take him though?
Yeah, that's it. That's the big question. But after what I got some inside information that it wasn't a positive COVID test. It was another positive test.
Oh.
That I really, like I said, I'm not supposed to really speak on it, but this is like I said.
He's back on the ski slopes, is what we're saying, right?
It's secondhand, but it's a reliable source. So
well, he usually played better when he was on the ski slopes, but it's not this time, I guess. So anyway, all right, well, that's some interesting intel. So some interesting games coming up. Just wanted to talk about the upcoming, basically it's every other day. So the Islanders and Lightning will play tomorrow at 8, and the Canadiens Golden Knights play Wednesday at 9. Lightning Islanders on Thursday at 8. Golden Knights Canadiens Friday at 8. Game 4 between the Lightning and the Islanders is Saturday, and game 4 between Golden Knights and Canadiens is Sunday. And then Carol can give you an update on how both those series are doing at that point. So again, the Golden Knights are up 1-0 end of the first in game 1 there. Also, very close basketball game. I haven't even given a scoring update in this one. The 76ers
Fantastic game.
Yeah, the 76ers are down 1 point to the Atlanta Hawks with 3:23 left in the fourth quarter. So we'll be highlighting that game for sure in the NBA Roundtable in just a few moments. So many great sports going on. A great strikeout right there by the Nationals, who are still up 3-2, top of the ninth now with 1 out. And Carol, real quickly, let's just talk about the other series, and then we'll let you go. The Canadiens and the Vegas series. What are your thoughts on those two teams?
Like I said, Montreal is playing good hockey at the right time. I think Carey Price is going to get locked in and might, do what he did the series before and just become like a wall out there. So it's about Montreal stepping up Vegas. They've been there. They was at the Stanley Cup final versus the Capitals. So they have some experience in there. So they know what has to be done. The question is Montreal going to be able to put it together and consistently in this round as they did in the previous round.
Yeah, we just got a second out there at top of the ninth. That's exciting. Brian, what are your thoughts on the surprising Habs run here to make it the farthest and the first time a Canadian team has played an American team all season?
Yeah, I'm really happy they opened the border up and that they're allowed to travel across the border for this series. Montreal's been a really surprising story. I think it's kind of funny how Winnipeg swept Edmonton and then Winnipeg got swept by Montreal. And it kind of has me wondering, is this going to be a sweep? Is Vegas going to sweep Montreal? Is it going to be a sweep?
We had that last year, right? In that crazy playoffs in the East?
I don't remember, but
I think that there was a sweep in the East last year. I'm going to pull it up.
It would be funny to see. I think Vegas is much better than Montreal. I obviously don't really watch either of these teams a whole lot, but just from what I've seen in the playoffs, Vegas looks really good. I was impressed with their comeback against Colorado, not only in the series as a whole, but they came back from 2-0 down in the third period in game 5 and won in overtime. So I've been impressed with Vegas this whole postseason. I think it's going to be a pretty easy series, honestly. I think they're going to take care of Montreal.
Yeah, probably. No, I guess it wasn't. I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe it wasn't that playoffs, but I did remember there being a bunch of sweeps in a row and being like everyone keeps on sweeping each other. But yeah, because Carolina, no, I guess they weren't swept either. But anyway, I don't know what I was thinking of, but it is there were a lot of lopsided series last year in each of the rounds, and teams did just go out pretty quickly. All right, so we'll let Carol break those series, or at least a update on those series next week, and we'll monitor that. Do either of you guys have anything more to talk about hockey, or we can stay here also for the final out of the Nats game? It's 2-2, 2 outs, top of the ninth. If the Nats get one more strike here, they will actually win this game live on Sports on the Hill podcast. So, Carol, we got to keep you here to the end of the baseball game, which is good.
And I'm hopefully Brad Hand can get this strikeout in this game.
And the pitch. Oh, it's a pop back. It's a good thing, and it's an out. And there it is.
All right, that's a good way to start the series. 7 games under 500 now. 3-2 Schwarber with the game-winning solo home run in the bottom of the 8th, I believe, to give the Nats the 3-2 victory. Something hopefully they can build off of going into tomorrow.
They did that they actually had less hits than the Pirates. The Pirates had 7 hits. The Nationals got 3 runs on only 6 hits. And the Pirates did have an error in there as well. But, that's always interesting to win with so few hits. 6 hits isn't a lot in a 9-inning game. So,
no doubt. Yeah, we got to get some more consistent hitting. Harrison has to get himself together. Josh Bell, he's cooled off a little bit. Schwarber starting to heat up. Trey still being consistent at the plate as always. Soto starting to round back into form after his stint on the IL. So, like I said, it's still time. 7 games under 500. They got the Mets for 4. They can, like I say, win 2 of those, 3 of those, and they're right back in it.
Yeah, indeed. I'm trying to switch to hockey on the other TV. Oh, it did not work. All right. Well, so Carol, it's 98-97 with 120 left in the fourth quarter here. The 76ers are up by 1 and Atlanta makes the bucket. So now they're down by 1 with 1:17 in this. Carol, do you have any final things that you want to talk about before we let you go?
No, as always, appreciate you guys tuning in, checking out some of the best DC sports coverage around. We love breaking it down for you guys, and we love you guys tuning in. Robbie, appreciate you bringing in a new Twitch audience. All you guys checking us out, go follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, SportsOTHP. Go follow my YouTube channel. I'll be streaming on my feed again next week, as always. Carol Porter III with 3 eyes, not the number 3. Check out sportsothp.com, the website. Check out the great merch that Robbie got on the District of Champions, the backdrop that I got in the back. Or you can inbox me, hit me up for the SportsOTHP apparel. We're partnering up with Eric Kusa, another faction that we have, another partner that we have. If you're in the market for a new user pre-owned certified vehicle, come holler at me down in Waldorf, Honda 2450 Crane Highway, down in Waldorf. Got new used pre-owned certified vehicles. Check out At the Bar Radio, Sundays, 6 o'clock. Talk current events, politics, sports, independent music, entertainment, news. And this upcoming Sunday for Father's Day, we're having a cookout. We're actually going to try to get some real fathers to come out that is actually involved in their child's life and be proud of being a father. Mother's Day, they get all the spectacular stuff. All the fathers get is the big piece of chicken, or he got to get on the grill and throw down on the grill for his day. So we want to celebrate the fathers as actually being real fathers in their kids' lives. So be sure to check us out Sunday night, 6 o'clock at the Bar Radio. If you're interested in coming through studios in Alexandria, bring some food, bring some adult beverages, and come on through and have a great show with us and be part of the studio audience.
That's awesome. I do love it. So you can check that out on his YouTube channel. And all the links are also on our Facebook. Always follow Carol there. Again, sportsothp.com has links to everything. We share stuff across all of them. You can get Carol's YouTube channel. You can get my YouTube channel. I just posted a cute video of Zach at his first baseball game we talked about at the beginning of the show. And live on Twitch, Carly's doing a great job giving all of the social media links if people want to have more information on any of that. So I appreciate that. But Carol, thank you so much. We'll get into some basketball talk here. And next week, you'll be running the show. Next week, I'll have the week off, so we won't have any live Twitch feed. But you can definitely check us out, facebook.com/sportsothp, or actually check out Carol's page as well. You can get all that stuff if you want to watch it over there or on his YouTube channel, as always. So thank you, Carol. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, y'all be easy, Brian. I'm here just for baseball talk next week and probably have Paul the boxing guy on breaking down the latest boxing news and everything. So appreciate y'all as always. Tim, Brian, appreciate y'all coming on early to talk baseball. And I'll wrap to y'all next week.
Yeah, what's funny is Brian, if he does that, would actually be broadcasting live from the man cave because he's watching the man cave for me.
There will be man cave representation next Monday. Yeah, don't worry about that.
So there you go.
All right, well, I'll see y'all guys next week.
Sounds good, man.
All right, later.
All right, sounds good. All right, let's bring in our NBA roundtable. We're going to cover the end of a fourth quarter. It's very exciting live. I see Champ is in the house and Tim, and we're also going to bring in Arun from a probably undisclosed location. So we'll see where he wants to travel in from. But Philly is down right now, 98-101. They have the ball. They're driving. Embiid drives in deep. He gets hacked. Do they call it? Yes. Okay. So Embiid's going to go to the line to shoot 2. They're down 3, 40.3 seconds. And Champ, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. Tim, what's up with the name? you miss Barry that much, man?
Yeah, I had to comment on the previous conversation. Just get my 2 cents in.
I like it. Yeah. Anyone who missed it, if they're just tuning into the NBA segment, we were talking about Barry Trotz and how the Capitals royally fucked up and they didn't keep him. I think we all can see that now. And if you go on any Capitals message boards, they will tell it to you. You're blue in the face. All right. So there we go. I got Arun. Nice. Arun has got a beautiful bridge behind him. Is that the Golden State Bridge?
This
Golden Gate Bridge. I'm in
Golden-
Alcatraz right
Golden-
now. Sorry.
Nice. Nice. All right. Hold on. I'm trying to see if I can shrink this down to size to fit your giant bridge in the shot. All right. So that's pretty good. I got it. All right. Let's break down this game real quickly. Again, it's a 2-point game, 40.3 seconds, I believe, with a free throw coming. Arun, have you been watching any of this epic matchup?
Yeah, I've been watching. Trae Young has been struggling from the field, but the fourth quarter, John Collins got them back into it, and Trae Young did hit a couple free throws just now, and turnovers are bringing the Hawks back into this game. The 76ers are kind of choking a little bit down the stretch in the fourth quarter, but we'll see what happens. It's still a really close game.
Right. Yeah, it's been an exciting matchup for sure. Let me I'm gonna break out see if I can switch screens over here, and then I'm going to share the screen. And we can talk about some of the different matchups and how they've shaped up while they have a commercial break live. All right, so let's see. We're gonna zoom in. Does that work? Ish.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. We've got 4 series. We've got Utah leading 2-1 over the Clippers. Phoenix crushed Denver in that series 4-0. This game is pretty exciting right here because if Atlanta can hold on, they will tie the series at 2-2. And Milwaukee and the Nets are tied 2-2. So some interesting things, though. I would say the East has been much closer than the West so far. It'll be interesting to see if the Clippers can tie it up in their next game, which I believe is that the Slater tonight, right? Yeah. So next on I can read on the TV. So yes, so that game is a little bit later this evening. I'm gonna let each one of you guys break down the series that you want to break down. I know that Arun's seen all of them, so I'm gonna start with Arun's take on each series, and then I'll let anybody who wants to comment on that series get an opportunity to do so. I'm gonna stick it here with the end of this game, though. 35 seconds left, and Atlanta has the ball. They are up by 1. There's 15 left on the shot clock, and they're at the top of the circle. Still 10 seconds left. They have not made their move. We'll see. And he holds up his dribble. I don't know. This is interesting to see if this is going to fail for them. Yeah, and it is. It's a turnover. So they give the ball right back to the 76ers. I think that was a poorly designed play, and I think they waited too long to start it. Arun, what was some of your takeaway on, I think, the lack of ball movement to start that last possession?
Yeah, I think the Hawks want to try to kill some clock, and Capella kind of choked away the possession. I guess it bounced off his hands throughout the game. In the first half, he's been playing kind of Shaq was calling kind of soft. I wouldn't go that far, but he's been like a non-factor offensively in this game, and that was another turnover. And maybe I guess they should just keep running their offense, try to get a good look, and they can hold the ball longer, but that was not a really good. Even with the Capella,
I felt like momentum was just slipping through their fingers on that. I was like, the longer you held it at the top of the key, I was like, this isn't gonna do what they want it to do. Tim, overall, what were some of your thoughts on this game and how it's gone on?
Well, Philly had an amazing second quarter. They shot the ball really well and built up a double-digit lead. So I was kind of surprised that Atlanta came back in the third and fourth quarter because we saw Philly kind of build up first half leads against the Wizards, and the Wizards weren't able to come back at all. So I was impressed with Atlanta coming back, and this game is way better than I assumed it would be at halftime. It's one of the best really this round, I would say. But I think Philly will win this series no matter, even if they lose tonight. But it could go 6 or 7 if they do lose tonight, and that would be better for the roundtable, better for the fans.
Yeah. This is an interesting play right here. Champ, did you just see what happened in this game? I think it was a pretty poor play coming back by Philadelphia. They had an opportunity down low, but they couldn't finish, and it's out of bounds. They're going to review it to see who it was last touched by. But Champ, what are your thoughts on Philadelphia here down the stretch?
Well, I mean, there's a reason why the 76ers are the number one team in the Eastern Conference. They're tough out, clearly. The Wizards, unfortunately, had to find that out the hard way. But Atlanta is definitely keeping this very, very close and keeping this very, very competitive. But the problem is that how much can they take of the physical nature of the 76ers and how well they play defense? They may make some boneheaded plays here and there, but their defense is so good that those boneheaded plays are basically masked up by such lockdown defense. So I feel like even if Atlanta, I agree with Tim, even if Atlanta wins this game tonight, I think Philly still takes it in 6 or maybe even 7. But I think that Philly will win this series. They're just too tough, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They're just too tough.
Right. Simmons just, I think, did touch that last. So we'll see if that's ultimately what is called. Tim, what are your thoughts on Philadelphia down the stretch here?
I mean, they're not showing a lot of composure. I think it's probably the fans in Atlanta are surprisingly really good this postseason. I think they've given the Hawks a big advantage. Even at the end of the regular season, the Hawks played great home basketball. So, Phillies still has a chance in this game, but they did really kind of choke it, and they have themselves to blame. But the fact is, a lot of things had to go right for Atlanta to possibly just eke out a victory. So clearly they, like everyone's saying, they should win the series, but I don't know if they can win the finals if they're going to play like this, farther into the postseason.
Yeah. Brian, what are some of your thoughts on how this game is going?
It's been a great game. I agree with what everybody said. This has been, without a doubt, one of the best games of the second round. I thought it was over in the first half. Philly looked really good in the first half, but Atlanta has come on really strong, especially in the fourth quarter. And it's been an exciting finish. I'm excited to see how it goes. And I will remind you that I am a solid 30 seconds behind you because I do not have cable.
Right. That's why, shockingly, I went to you last on that rotation.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, all right, let's just briefly talk about some of the other series while we're still at commercial break because we know how the end of fourth quarters go. Let's talk about this Brooklyn Bucks series. Brian, I'll let you start off with what your thoughts are on the series. It's now tied 2-2.
I think this has been a pretty interesting series. Brooklyn won the first 2 games pretty easily. James Harden got hurt in game 1, and you figured they'd still be okay because they had KD and Kyrie. Game 3 was really low scoring, and Giannis and Chris Middleton combined for, I believe, 79% of the Bucks' points. Holiday hit the game-winning bucket in Game 3. The Nets Durant missed a 3 at the end, and they lost 89-86. And there was this really weird incident that I don't think a lot of people are talking about for some reason, where Kevin Durant was getting into it with PJ Tucker of the Bucks, and out of nowhere, they were going nose to nose. They were arguing with each other, and out of nowhere, Kevin Durant's personal bodyguard runs on the court and just checks PJ Tucker. Like, one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. Like, that should not be allowed to happen. And it's another reason why I hate the Nets. They need their own personal bodyguards to stand up to them. It's stupid. And then in game 4, Kyrie Irving gets hurt. And now that could change the whole trajectory of the series, because now the Bucks won game 4, and now Kyrie Irving's out and James Harden's out for game 5. Kevin Durant is going to, in my opinion, have to absolutely put the Nets on his back in game 5 if they want any chance to win the series. He's going to have one of the best games of his career, because without Harden and without Kyrie, I really don't think it's possible for the Nets to win the series. I think the Bucks are a better team than the Nets without those two. And if they are out for an extended period of time, which it looks like they're going to be, I personally think the Nets are done, and I love to see it.
Yes, I'm sorry to spoil, but it was a very exciting end to this game. Atlanta makes 2 free throws. Philadelphia has a chance, but Atlanta.
Can you hold off?
Okay, we'll let Brian see the play. But yeah.
Okay, I see. I've seen it now. It's over.
Okay, Arun, do you want to explain what happened at the very end of that?
Yeah, the Sixers got a pretty good look given the circumstances from Curry from deep, and he missed it and hit off the rim, and it's going to be all tied 2-2 going forward.
Yeah, exactly. So, and Fleury just made an incredible save, and Vegas has scored recently again. So now they're up 2-0 in that game in the second period. Yeah, big win for Atlanta to tie that series up 2-2. Champ, do you have any thoughts on the Brooklyn Bucks series?
Not really. I haven't really been paying much attention to this series. My focus was more on the Western Conference series and how competitive they are. But I mean, this one right here, this series, just by looking at it on paper, just looks like it's been an even matchup. But based on what Brian's been saying, if you don't have Durant in there for an extended period of time, I think
it's Harden and Irving. Durant will be playing.
Okay, so Harden and Irving. So if you don't have both of them in the lineup, I think that Giannis and company, I think they can very well take this series and move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. But that's the most I could say about that one without having really watched a lot of the games.
Yeah. Tim, do you have any final thoughts on the Bucks versus Brooklyn series before I switch over to the Western side?
No, I just think it's going to be a great game because I think Durant can put the team on his back. It's just going to help him that it's in Brooklyn. I think Milwaukee will win, but it's going to be a very close game, and whoever wins that is going to take the series. So I wouldn't be shocked if Milwaukee even wins in 6, which would be kind of crazy. But it's been a great series so far. I do hope that Brooklyn gets healthy though, because it'll make the end of the series better.
Yeah, Arun, any final takeaway on this series?
Yeah, I agree with Tim. Like, it could be a close game. More of an adjustment period for Steve Nash. Like, with Kyrie Irving just going down suddenly, it gives them a chance to actually have a full game plan. Jeff Green is also coming back. Blake Griffin didn't play in the second half of that game. We'll see if he comes back and plays. That was another big loss for them. Maybe he's injured, but I think, yeah, I agree with Tim. It could be a close game, and we'll see what Steve Nash can do. And everyone said he has an easy coaching job, but now he's going to earn his paycheck.
For sure. All right, let's get on to the Western side. Arun, I'll let you have your quick take, and then I'm going to get Champ's thoughts on this sweep, this Phoenix sweep.
You want to talk about the Nuggets and Sun series?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it was a pretty one-sided series. Without Jamal Murray for the Nuggets, who helped them get to the conference finals, their backcourt was not up to par with the Suns, who have 2 all-star players in Chris Paul and Devin Booker. Great defense by the Suns throughout the series. Mikal Bridges from Villanova University, he was huge. He had a couple 20-point games. The 76ers regret trading him for essentially nothing, and it wasn't really a close series. Jokic got ejected for a swipe down play, which was kind of awkward because he probably shouldn't have been ejected. At most, it should have been a flagrant 1. But that essentially ended the Nuggets run. They were down 3-0. They had come down back from 3-1 deficits, so maybe they could have made it a series, but it was unlikely given how well the Suns have played recently, and they've won 7 straight playoff games for the first time in their franchise history.
Wow. Champ, what were your thoughts on this series?
So I said it last week. I said I was excited to keep a track of this series because I thought it was going to be like really, really competitive. These 2 evenly matched teams. The Suns just took out the defending champions, and I thought it was going to be a really good series. And boy, was I disappointed because it just seemed like Denver just did not show up at all. The first three games, they basically got blown out for the most part. Only game 4 was the close one, and they still lost that one. Devin Booker and CP3 absolutely just went off in the last 2 games. They went off, each of them scoring over 20 points, including game 4 where they each scored 30 plus. They absolutely just went off and took over. Denver had nothing at all to counter how good that CP3 and Devin Booker are, and clearly CP3 wants that. He wants that ring. Chris Paul wants that ring, and he's got a good opportunity to get that. He's got a good chance to get that. This team is just absolutely amazing. So hopefully the next series it'll be a little bit more competitive.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Tim, let's talk about the fact that he gets to have the same coach that he had earlier in his career, and how this would be kind of really interesting for them to win it together in a different city. What are some of your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's just crazy. Phoenix really has come out of nowhere to be this good in the regular season, get the 2 seed, and then get to the Western Finals relatively easily. But it really even started last year in the bubble, because they had a great bubble, won every game I think, but didn't even make it to the playoff round. So they had a ton of momentum going in, and Chris Paul was somewhat, like, I wouldn't say risky trade, but some people thought it wasn't going to work out. He was too old. He's been traded too many times recently, kind of like Westbrook. But it was a great move. And, Phoenix was aimless for years and years. Nobody wanted to sign there. But if they could somehow make it to the finals or even win it all, I mean, that could just turn around the whole franchise. So it's a great story. And you want to see Paul win a ring.
Yeah.
Before he's done.
I agree. Brian, what are some of your thoughts on this story?
I thought it was going to be a much closer series than it was. I thought Denver had a lot of talent, even without Jamal Murray. I thought they might be able to hang, but you guys said it. Booker and CP3 are great. And it's kind of funny because you guys remember when the Wizards traded for Russell Westbrook, I said they had to do it because when you get a chance to trade for a player like Russell Westbrook, you have to do it. Well, Chris Paul is the same thing. When you've got an opportunity to trade for Chris Paul, you have to take it because he makes your team better. This Suns team was already built for success, I feel. They had a good core with Booker and Ayton and all those guys. But to add CP3, a great veteran, arguably one of the best point guards of all time, to your team, it's a huge addition. He makes every team he goes to better. Monty Williams is a great coach. He's the runner-up for Coach of the Year in the NBA. He was great this year. I like this Sun story, and I just going back to what Arun said about the flagrant on Jokic. I did not personally think that was a flagrant too. I thought I was watching the game live, and I was like, that's not a flagrant. Like, there's no way he's going to get ejected for that, and he did. And I thought it was incredibly soft and very unexpected. And Stephen A. Smith on ESPN today, I thought, made a pretty good point. You do not throw out the MVP of your league in an elimination game like that for something as soft as that. I thought it was ridiculous, personally. But Suns complete the sweep, and they were definitely the better team than the Nuggets. And no matter who they play next, Jazz or the Clippers, I think it's going to be a great series.
Yeah, it's interesting that 2 times this year does a old point guard get reunited with a previous coach from a different team. So it's kind of an interesting storyline and parallels with the Wizards there. Right now, the Clippers are up 10-2 with 9 minutes left in the first quarter here. The Clippers have kind of dominated the early part of this game, but we all know that doesn't mean a whole lot. Did everyone get their thoughts on the Phoenix that wanted to, or did anyone else want to? Yeah. Okay. All right. So we go to this series right now. This Utah LA Clippers series. Utah is winning 2-1. Obviously, the Clippers are trying to tie it up here tonight in LA. I'm going to turn off the screen share because people don't need to see it. And my lights are flickering. So we'll see if power lasts and how much longer this podcast goes for. And And anyway, so okay, for a second there, the TVs both went black at the same time, but they both went to commercial, and it threw me off. All right, so anyway, what are your? I'll go around the horn and get your thoughts on this series. Champ, do you have any takeaways from this Clippers Utah series?
Yeah, like I said, this is the other series that, well, I started to pay attention to this one as well. And this has been a pretty good series so far. Donovan Mitchell in game one was an absolute beast. 45 points. I mean, goodness gracious. Absolute beast. Jazz looked really good these first three games, even in the loss to the Clippers in game three. They still look good, which is why they're the number one team in the West. But I mean, Kawhi and PG-13, they also are hungry for that ring. I mean, Kawhi already has one, but he wants another one, and he's gonna do what he can. And he's got Paul George with him. They're gonna do what they got to do, and I think that this is gonna be the series. This series right here. Whoever wins the series is gonna come in with a slight disadvantage because this series is gonna go long because this is going to probably go 6, maybe 7 games. Just how closely contested these two teams are playing each other, I think this could be a 6 or 7 game series. I think that maybe if Mitchell continues to play the way that he does with this team, I think that the Jazz will take it, and they'll most likely take it in 6 or 7 games instead of a Jazz Suns Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, Vegas is on the power play once again. They're up 2-0 in 10.5 minutes left in the second period of this game one of their semifinal. The Clippers are now at 16-6 with 7:35 left in the first quarter. In that, I'm going to go to Brian. I'm going to go to you next on this series. What are your thoughts on it so far?
Well, first off, correction to Champ. Kawhi Leonard actually has 2 rings, not 1. Secondly, I love this series so far. I hate doing that, but I just wanted to get it right.
No, please correct me. I don't want to look stupid.
He's got 2 and 2 finals MVPs. This has been a good series so far. Utah, I echo what Champ said. Donovan Mitchell in game one was incredible. He put on a show, and the block by Gobert at the end was absolutely clutch, showing why he's the defensive player of the year. But really, I think this Jazz team, as good as they are, and I think this Jazz team is really good. They're definitely banged up. Mike Conley has not played at all this series. Donovan Mitchell was dealing with an injury towards the end of game 3. They're banged up, and the Clippers, I think, have been taking advantage. They blew them out in game 3. So far, off to a good start tonight. I think this is a good team, but I don't know if it's a long series. I don't know if that's a disadvantage, honestly, because that's been a debate in sports for a long time, whether you want to have rest or if you want to go through a long series, like what I think this is going to be. I think that at the end of the day, this is going to be a 7-gamer. I have a feeling they're going to trade wins the rest of the way. And we're going to end up in a game 7 in the series. This has been a fun one to watch. I think it's very similar to the Bucks Nets series in the sense that, the home team's gonna take advantage. I win the first 4 games at least. And I see this series going at least 6, probably 7, honestly.
Yeah. Interesting. Tim, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, this will be interesting because the Clippers have never gotten out of the second round, and they played their best basketball this postseason, at least when their backs have been against the wall. And when they've been down 2-0, the game 3 performance has been their best. So maybe they're a little tougher this year. They do have Kawhi, who apparently has won multiple championships. So they have a chance to come back and win this series. I do think the Jazz are better. I think the Jazz will win in 7, but I'm really curious to see if the Clippers can finally break through because they do have the talent and they have the talent to go all the way if they get through this. So I'm excited to watch tonight and a couple more games.
Right. Yeah. Not many players have won championships on 3 different teams. LeBron has done it. How many other players have even done that?
Danny Green.
Danny Green. Good point. Yeah. North Carolina guy.
He could make
Only
it
a
4
few,
this year too.
like
Yeah.
4 or 5 total ever.
Wait, what was that?
There's only like a handful that have ever done it, I think.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that would be impressive into itself. I mean, it's tough to
Big
bounce
shot,
around
Bob.
and to
Robert
do it.
Horry.
Oh yeah, big shot, Bob. So yeah, it'll be an interesting series for sure. Arun, do you have any final takeaways on the series?
Yeah, I think like the Nets series, injuries will play a role probably because I think Mike Conley's been out and if he doesn't come back, and Donovan Mitchell looked banged up. He exited Game 4, but he is playing Game 5. But he clearly doesn't look like the same guy has been averaging 28.5 points per game and throughout his playoff career. So I think that would make the Clippers slight favorites, but as everyone's pointing out, the Clippers have had a questionable playoff history. Even last year, they blew a 3-1 lead. But Tyronn Lue's a different coach. He came back from a 3-1 deficit in 2016 with the Cavaliers. So I think they made the adjustment. The Clippers played Terrence Mann. They didn't play him in games 1 and 2 inexplicably, but they played him a lot in that Mavs series, and that's why they came back and won. So I think I would have the Clippers as the slight favorites, but it could go either way for sure.
Yeah, some interesting matchups. I know Brian and some people might join CP3 next week. Next week I'm taking off, but I don't know if we'll talk NBA or how much, but I know that in 2 weeks we'll come back and I will do another roundtable and we can kind of take a look. At that point, it'll be either the conference finals or we'll already know the finals. So it'll be interesting to see that and break that down in 2 weeks. But I'm going to give each one of you guys an opportunity for a final send off. And Arun, you wanted to talk a little bit of French Open with me, is that right?
Yeah, that's true.
I can't see your face though.
Oh, about now.
Yes, there we go. As much as I like talking to your shirt, but no, you're fine. Let's talk. Did any of the rest of you see any of the French Open? Probably.
I heard about that really good match though. Was it Nadal versus Djokovic? I heard that was really good.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
Yes, I heard about it.
Yeah. Oh, it's a goal, which means that Montreal scored and they're on the power play. So I turned on the goal horn for Montreal because fuck Vegas. Fleury shutout is over. 7:55 left in the second period. Montreal gets on the board. They split that lead in half. Great play. It was off the outside of the net. And then I think that comes back around and it scores. Let's see how it. Oh no, it bounced around into front. It was a great pass that bounced off the goalie and then back to the guy coming down the slot on the left side for the goal. So a beautiful goal. So that's exciting there. I didn't know if I'd actually hear the goal horn again this year. So that's his first goal. That was Cole Caulfield's first goal of the 2021 playoffs right there. Montreal is out shooting Vegas 17-14 right now, I believe, in that one. All right, so let's talk a little bit of tennis. I only saw the semifinal. I didn't see the final. I was bummed. For people who don't know, I'm a big clay tennis fan, and I'm a huge Rafael Nadal fan. He had an opportunity to break the tie. He's tied for most championships all the time. He had an opportunity to break it this year at his favorite event. But he just looked a little bit injured in the second half of that and slowed down. And Djokovic just came on strong and won some sets convincingly towards the end. Arun, what was your takeaway in that semifinal game?
Yeah, that's a match that could have gone really either way based on a couple of points. Nadal, I think I believe it was like the third set, he had the chance to come away with the huge point, and Djokovic, it was like a break point, or that he came up with this huge drop shot, which was like completely unexpected, and I think that was a turning point of the match. And Nadal, shortly thereafter, he had like a wide open volley to like with a winner, but he just hit it out, and then I think Nadal, I think a couple of points back and forth, Djokovic came up with huge points, and Nadal just made some mental errors. And then, yeah, in the fourth set. It was like a long match. It was like 4 hours and 30 minutes. It was pretty long, and that injury to Nadal, like I believe he was like taking off his ankle was bothering him, and Nadal hasn't lost that much in the French like Open. He's won 13 of them, and he couldn't get the 14th. And Djokovic becomes one of the few players to get 2 Grand Slam multiple. He's like one of the few players to win one of the 4 majors twice. So it was a pretty crazy match. That was probably the real championship. CC Pass was a good match. He was up 2-0, but Nadal, I felt like, put more pressure on Djokovic, especially down the stretch. Like Djokovic won that match, the next 3 sets, and he's like 30-11 in 5-set matches. And maybe the only reason he had that much trouble is because Nadal pushed him and he came out with low energy. But that was the match between Nadal and Djokovic is probably one of the best matches I've ever seen. It's like up there.
Yeah, it was incredible. I was kind of bummed that I was working towards it, but luckily I had an extra screen, so I towards the end I threw it up there. But Liz kept on calling me from the other room. It was like, "How are you not, watching this, right now?" And but yeah, it was an interesting match for sure, and I think it was like the true finals of the French for me. I think that and that happens sometimes. The semifinal is really more of a one of those legendary epic games, especially with Nadal. It's crazy. Nadal, I don't believe, has ever lost to the same opponent twice in French Open history, which is like nuts when you think about it. And so Djokovic is now 1 away, I believe, from tying Nadal and Federer for
No,
totals.
he just tied them with this. They all have 19 now.
Really? I thought one.
At least that's what they were talking about on PTI today. Yeah.
Oh wow, men's single.
But he was 1 away before
maybe that's what.
before the championship, but now he's tied with Federer and Nadal at 19.
Yeah. All right. You're right. Interesting. I don't know why I thought that 2 of them had 20 and 1 had 18. But anyway.
Yeah, because he was 1 behind before. So they were saying, I think.
No, wait, no. Right here it says no on Wikipedia right now. Federer and Nadal have 20 and Djokovic has 19.
Okay, so now that's 1 behind. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Okay.
Makes sense.
Let me see if I can share.
Sets up an interesting Wimbledon, though.
Yeah, for sure. Is this the right screen? Can you guys see this? Yeah. So this is the all-time, and if people were ever curious, Roger Federer has 20. He's won 8 Wimbledon, 5 U.S. Open, 1 French, and 6 Australian. Nadal's won a record 13 French Opens, 1 Australian, 2 Wimbledon, and 4 U.S. Open. And Djokovic has won most of them on Australia with 9, and then 2 French, 5 Wimbledon, and 3 U.S. Open. So and Sampras is on that list with 14 as well. But just some amazing numbers by all of them. I mean, they'll go down as the 3 greatest tennis players of our lifetime. And it's been awesome to watch. And unfortunately, while Arun was going through that, Vegas did score. It's now 3-1 Vegas with 4:14 left in the second. And the Clippers are up 23-10 in their game right now. But Arun, any other sports or things you want to talk about before we let you go?
Yeah, not much RG3 news right now. Sorry, RG3, you're tired of us right now. Just making a lot of crazy tweets, but I don't think there's anything newsworthy. Looking forward to France versus Germany tomorrow in soccer. So that'll be a good matchup, and it could be interesting if it's Islanders versus the Knights in the finals. The former GM of the Caps versus the former coach of the Caps. So we'll see if that comes to fruition, but still a long way to go in both those conference final series. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if there's any Redskins news, because then or Washington football news, I should say. So we could talk about all the sports. We've talked about almost every one of them. We've had soccer Tennis. I don't follow golf, so I can't help much on that one. But we covered a lot tonight. But Arun, thank you so much for joining us as always. And I don't know if you'll be able to join Carol next week, but if not, maybe in 2 weeks we'll do a big NBA roundtable again. And hope that you have a good week.
Yeah, just the one Washington football team now. Taylor Heineke put on some weight and he's working out. That's all the Washington football team news I have. And thanks for having me on.
Yeah, that's all that's here. It's just talking about that he is a strong mini camp. Exciting news on the football front. But thank you, Arun, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.
All right, Tim, I'll let you have the next say. What any news or anything else that you want to talk about tonight?
No, great show tonight. Glad to talk some baseball. It's been a while, not something I do too often. Sad that I'll miss the show next week. I'll be in Seattle. I'm going to be scouting homes for Braden Holtby and Coke dealers for Kuznetsov. So I'll report back to them. They're going to be joining me in Seattle very shortly.
Right.
So yeah, I'm just going on a scouting mission.
Right. That sounds good. We'll both be in different states. You'll be even farther west than I will be in Texas. So
yeah, we keep traveling at the same time but to
yeah.
way different places.
Exactly. So you can like wave to Texas as you pass it or something.
Yeah, that's true.
But Tim, thank you as always. We'll
thanks,
talk to you in
guys.
a couple weeks.
Have a good night. Bye.
All right. And all right, we're gonna let Brian. You've got some exciting news coming up on your podcast, Upon Further Review with Brian Brennan. I know you didn't have one today, but you are gonna have one on Friday. That's really exciting. Let people know what's coming up on your show.
Yeah, so I have a friend named Alex Dunbar who is a rap. He produces beats. He makes beats for rappers, and he hooked me up with a friend of his who he's made beats for in the past. He's a rapper by the name of Drugs Only. He's from New York. This season he made 2 mixtapes about the Knicks. And so on Friday on my podcast, I'm going to have both my friend Alex Dunbar and the rapper Drugs Only on my podcast. We're going to talk rap. We're going to talk Knicks. It's going to be a really good time. It's something I think a little different from what I normally do. I think it's going to be a lot of fun though. So yeah, no episode today, but I'm looking forward to being back on Friday with Upon Further Review with Brian Brennan. Go check out the most recent episode that dropped this past Friday. Thanks for having me on, Robbie. I appreciate it. And once again, anybody who has a problem with me rooting for the Islanders, get over it. Have a good night.
I like it. I'm trying to decide who I want to raid in a second. So I'm going to, I thought you could just do vote and then it would come up. I don't know. Oh, it's a poll. Okay, I got it. All right, there we go. I'm going to try to figure out, while I try to figure out who we should raid, Champ, let people know what's happening on the No Spots podcast this week. I know you've been doing a ton, and let people know what's happening on your Twitch channel as well. I'll give you a shout out in Twitch chat as well. But let people know what you have going on.
Well, this coming Wednesday is another edition of Brussels Chat Wednesdays. The topics haven't been determined as of yet. Hopefully I'll figure them out by tomorrow. But that'll be at around 7 p.m. Eastern time on twitch.tv/TrueNoSpotsPod. And hopefully we can do a long enough stream that it'll go into what you're doing with Carly on this channel, on your Twitch channel at 9 p.m. on Wednesday. And also this Saturday for the podcast, also going to be streaming on Twitch. We're going to be talking about, we're going to be recapping NXT TakeOver in Your House, which is an amazing pay-per-view. We'll be previewing WWE Hell in a Cell 2021, which is taking place this coming Sunday. Of course, we're going to go through the week in wrestling as well. And so that's what we got for you coming up on those spots. And one last thing I forgot to mention about the Jazz is watching those Jazz highlights. I really miss Bojan Bogdanovic. I miss him so much. I wish he was still here. That's all I got to say.
That sounds true. So, Champ, I've got to pull up. We got KR, Ashley Cruz, Natalie Page, Daniel Wayne, all great musicians. I don't know who to pick. Carly's struggling too. If anyone's in Twitch chat, feel free to click on it, help me out. All of them I love. They're all right now. And I see that Carly is going for KR, which she mods for him, so I totally appreciate that. But if anybody else has anything else to say on that, if not, we'll go give KR a little visit here in just a second. But so that poll is up live. I really appreciate everyone for tuning in and the raids today. It was awesome that Carly subscribed. She's my first 2-month subscriber, so that's awesome. Again, thanks to Justin for the raid. So we got 2 for KR. I think that's probably where we're going, but I'm down if other people want to pick something else. We're going to do a merchandise stream, as Carly just posted on our Twitch feed on this Wednesday at about 9 o'clock. I will be live with Carly. I'm going to try to run 3 computers simultaneously and design merch and chat with Carly and chat at the same time, which is a interesting endeavor. It'll be fun to watch me struggle through it. I'll use my work machine to get Photoshop live. I'll use my Mac that I record audio and video on to control chat and to have the live video, and then I'll use the PC to send it out.
That's legendary levels of multitasking, Robbie. Let me tell you.
Yeah, there you go. So this is why I used to be a computer teacher. I can try to run 3 machines, and by doing it on separate machines, hopefully it actually runs very smoothly because none of the computers have to do like all the work, right? So we'll also have we'll hopefully get 2 cameras set up by using Zoom, and Carly will call in and she can read to me chat a little bit while I'm designing stuff for her. So that way that can help me out a little bit. And I know Champ, you are going to hopefully join us as well. And so maybe you can.
My plan is to try to run my stream all the way up until your start and raid. That way I can jump into your stream.
That's awesome. And so maybe you can also help in the chat. And I may even have you come on the Zoom as well if it's a really wild chat and we need even more eyes. But cool. Yeah, it'll be awesome. I'm happy to bring people from all over my life, Champ and Carly, all together. We're going to design some really epic merch for Carly. I'll be using Photoshop. I used to be a Photoshop teacher, so people in chat can ask questions. I can show them what I'm doing. Also, people who've never created a Teespring, I can show them a little bit of behind the scenes, not all of it. We're going to just look behind the scenes to come up with some ideas of things we want, whether it be mugs or shirts and different materials. And then we'll design the graphics for it. And then Carly and I will go back offline and do the final, merchandise, which will come out a couple of days later. But that way people can give their input and their thoughts, and they can check out what it's like to Photoshop. I don't know if anybody's ever watched many Photoshop streams. I've only ever done one on the channel before, but I do Photoshop for a living, so it's kind of fun to show a little bit of that side. I get to watch artists do music all the time and do other fun stuff, and I rarely get to do art on this platform. So I'm kind of really excited about that opportunity and to teach some of you guys anything you want to know about Photoshop, making emotes. And maybe I was thinking, Champ, in a future stream, maybe I'm making emotes for your channel live on Twitch as well. So that could be kind of a cool thing to do. And then you can join us and give your thoughts on what you like to see, and we could do that.
Hey, I got another slot open, man. We can make it happen.
Go. All right, that's awesome. So I'll be away on vacation, but maybe when I come back from vacation, we can make that happen, or maybe I'll just design that one more emote offline. And then I know that you actually have bit tier emotes. People don't know this, but you actually, when you are a streamer, you get your own 6 emotes. You get bit emotes for both 1K, 5K, and is it 25K? I don't remember. I know you get 3. And then you also get your tier 2 and tier 3 emotes. And so you're a lifetime tier 3 member of your own channel. So I could design you a whole bunch of emotes that even if it's just you that are using it temporarily, you could have through Twitch as well. So, and if people ever want to actually hire me to make emotes, I was thinking about making some perks on art streams where people could donate a certain number of subs, and I design them and emote live on air. So I was thinking about offering that as an option if people wanted to do that, or either do it as gift subs or if they donated like 2,000 bits or something, and we could do it live on air as well. And Carly's showing off that I've actually designed her loop emote and her modified moon emotes before, and I will just share in chat real quickly. These are the ones that I have for my channel, and I'm always happy to help other people design theirs as well. So, Champ, any final thoughts before we do our raid?
Not really. Just I just got an alert on my phone, and it's a flash flood warning around here, so it's about to get real nasty. Really
I
fast.
got the same one on the other side, in Maryland. So it's Liz is actually, we have a brand new deck that was built this summer and just finished, and it's waterproofed under it. So she can actually sit out at a table and do some work on a laptop with the rain around her, which is pretty badass. So I'm actually watching Zach technically right now. If people can see live on air, he's fast asleep. Yeah, so that's exciting. So I'm excited about Carly's show on Wednesday. Next Monday, I'm taking off. But again, go to our Facebook page, go to Carol's Facebook page, go to his YouTube channel. He'll be still doing a live stream. I hope people still are able to check that out. I'll be taking a couple of weeks off throughout the summer. And I'll also take a couple of weeks off for paternity leave upcoming. So I'm very excited about that. But you'll still see more of me. I'm always producing things behind the scenes as well. It's been awesome. Season 6 has gone incredible. This has been episode 10 of Sports on the Hill podcast, on episode 229 overall. I'm going to stop here, the audio portion of this podcast, and people can go to sportsothp.com for more. Facebook.com/sportsothp also has all of the latest, and we'll check you guys out next week, and we're going to stop that Facebook recording now.
The recording has stopped.
And then we're going to stop that live stream and the recording. So perfect. So we stopped that over on Facebook. We're still live on Twitch. We decided we're going to raid KR Acoustic. So I'm going to say raid and then at Acoustic.
Yeah, I switched to my other account because 3 channels that I mod for are all online at the same time. So I'm doing my mod duties there.
Nice. That is totally fine. And let me see. Oh, there we go. Raid KR Acoustic. All right. So I think that raid is starting. Champ, thank you for helping the mod. Carly, thank you for helping me modding as well. Thank you for everyone for stopping by. The gift, or the sub, the resub, and the raids. Oh no, Peter, you missed the stream, but we got a win. The Nats won. And it's been a fun stream. And I appreciate for stopping by. Well, we got like all the mods to show up at some point or another tonight. So we've got Turbo came in. Jazzy didn't make it tonight, but I do appreciate Peter, True No Spots, who's live on air right now. Thank you everybody for coming through. I really appreciate it. It's been a fun show. Again, look forward to Carol doing his podcast. There won't be anything. Twitch will go dark next week. I'll be in Texas, but we'll be back the following week here live. And but remember, Wednesday, merchandise stream with Carly, 9:00 approximately. I look forward to that. We're gonna raid now. KR Acoustic, Turbo, and Peter, come along for the raid. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it. Have a great night.
Peace.